angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth was stone, our ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. So Jen will be here after a while. She did the double whammy today. She went shopping, which is a bad thing to do, especially at Walmart on the first of the month, and we've got a snowstorm coming in. So of course everybody's rushing to buy their bread and milk, and so say a prayer for her. Now, where we live, it's really calm place, so even Walmart on a bad day isn't too awful bad. Walmart on a bad day, Walmart on its worst day here is probably equivalent to a normal day where she lived when we met, so not a big deal. Do got a few things to update everybody on. First and foremost, March represents Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, and I want to give a shout out to Jen, aka Gangsta Giggles. Of course, she is affected by cerebral palsy. She got it because Obama sneezed on her in a restaurant. No, I'm kidding. She was born with cerebral palsy, and I just want to recognize her and her struggle, because it is a daily struggle. She cerebral palsy, it spans just about every imaginable severity that there is. Some people you would never even know have cerebral palsy. Other people, they're pretty much they're confined to a chair. They may have very limited movement. She has some friends that have cerebral palsy. Some of them like type with the aid of a device similar to what Stephen Hawking used. It uses your eye. So it spans a very wide range of how it can affect you. Now, Jen, she has spastic diplegia, and she walks with the aid of crutches. And but she does walk. She has to use the crutches. And she's got a lesser hand dexterity and whatnot than most of us. So just to give you a little insight on her, a big shout out to her. Like I said, she's not here right now. She doesn't know we're talking about her, and so I just wanted to make mention of that. Cerebral palsy is a very, very interesting condition. It really is. It's mind-blowing. Jen is a incredibly smart woman, and I could see where people could mistake somebody with cerebral palsy for somebody that may have learning disabilities, and don't get me wrong, some people's cerebral palsy would cause that. It just differs. It's a really interesting condition. Like I say, it's largely because of a lack of oxygen to the brain, and that can affect multiple different areas, or it can affect one particular area more than another, and it's not the same for any two people. So where one person with cerebral palsy may have problems speaking, another person may be able to speak very clearly, but have issues in other areas. So it's Jen speaks clearly. You can't tell by her speaking that she has it. So yeah, I want to give a big shout out to her and everybody else on the planet that deals with that. And let's see, in other shout out news, I woke up with quite a surprise this morning, and I'll play the video after the monologue. So Survival Dispatch had uploaded a video today, and it was going over merchandise for Angry American, and he gave us a shout out, not necessarily by name, but he did definitely to make mention, direct mention of us in that video, which I thought was really, really cool. So that's cool. Trying to think of other news. There is one thing that I've been spending the last couple of days really thinking about. I'm still thinking about it. Haven't made any decisions, at least not really. I think I have, but not sure. So anytime I spend money on anything other than prepping, I have a real big fight with myself. Because I have to ask myself, is this going to, because we don't have much extra money to spend, so I have to ask myself, is this going to help us after some type of an event? And if the answer is no, then I think about 10 more times whether or not I really need it. And in most cases, I decide not to, but it's appearing, at least in my mind so far, that I may be making a purchase of a video recorder. I want to say camcorder, which is I associate with the old tape style ones. And the reason why is because I think it could be beneficial to the channel. I think it could be beneficial to you if we could do a little bit of review work on different items that we own. Or I can do, do-it-yourself type of instructional videos, just a wide array of things. And so I think I'm going to take that plunge. There's a camera that I found for just under $100 that I think will do the trick. I don't need anything real super special, but I don't want to get the cheapest thing that I can either, because I want something that's going to give you good video quality. So that is something that we're going to be looking at doing. Also, I don't know a whole lot yet. I'm still digging around different ones. I found one I'm really interested in. A couple things about it I'm not real enthused about, so we'll see. But I will also be able to use it, or at least I want to get one that I can use, kind of like a webcam, kind of. So that we can get on video when we do our show. It would be nice, maybe not every day, but from time to time, to have a shot of us sitting at the desk here while we're doing the monologue. So at least while we're doing the monologue. So that is something that's, like I said, the last 2 days it's really been going around in my head as to whether or not to do it. So it's kind of one of those things. Like I say, I have to ask myself: is it beneficial? Does that does the end justify the means, more or less? And I think it will. I think it'll be just fine. I really do. So we'll see. That, like I say, that's something that I'm looking at. If I do take that plunge, get ready for a lot of good content. A lot of really good content. Let's see. Trying to think if there's any other news to be able to advise you of as far as we're concerned. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. We're just kind of strolling along. Still building up the back end of the PrepperNurse1.com website. I actually put our Amazon affiliate link in the menu today. I got Prepper Nurse One's approval to do that, because that's what helps us out. That's how we can build and expand, and I'm trying to find ways that we can do that. It's not about us making money and taking vacations. It's about putting that money back into the show, the websites, just everything, and including getting different things to review, to check out. So that's another good note. So I think that pretty much covers any of the update kind of news. By the way, if anybody would like to use our Amazon affiliate link, it's in the description of the videos that we do, the monologues that we put out. It's also, you can go to the website, thewatchmannews.com, and there's search boxes there, recommended items, all kinds of goodies. You can go check it out at your leisure. So anyway, we will be joining up with Prepper Nurse 1 at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. He's going to be going live, and the show today, oh gosh, what was it on? Something to the effect of, I don't want to try to say it verbatim, will people work together after SHTF? Something to that effect. So we'll be joining up with him at 7. I can't wait to hear this. I really can't. A lot of good questions to be asked there. So I'm trying to think of anything else. I'm going to try to move through the move through the monologue kind of quickly today. Reason being is cutting it early at 7 for our content. That's an hour less that we've got to put out content, and there's a lot of good content today. So I want to try to make sure to get as much of it as I can. Plus, I've got some commentary on a few of the articles that I put out today. Pardon me. Sorry. I normally mute that before I clear my throat. Let me get that brought up here. All right. Okay, so we're going to start out with this. Victoria's Secret closing 53 stores this year. KMOV.com. I don't know why I'm reading the address. Victoria's Secret closing 53 stores this year. So what's that about the economy is just absolutely booming? Let me explain something about this, and I pointed this out several times. There are certain industries that are the very last industries to be hit whenever you are in financial trouble as a country, okay? And those areas are commonly what I would call luxury areas, okay? Those are your entertainment areas, for instance. People won't go to movies as much. People won't, buy games as much. And yes, I would consider Victoria's Secret you can laugh at me if you want, but an entertainment/luxury area. So yeah, they're taking a hit. I would say that's pretty big news. I would say that's pretty big news right there. Folks, it's not about what people at a podium say, okay? Don't ever be foolish enough to listen to a politician, whether you support the politician or not, with what they say. Always look at what's going on, okay? Because that is where the fruit is. That is where the fruit is. And we have been seeing retailers shuttering their doors left and right for several years now. And it's not getting any better. Absolutely not getting any better. So this is, to me, this is an important thing to pay attention to here, because Victoria's Secret, it's a well-known name. It's a popular name. To my knowledge, it's a well-respected name. I don't know. I don't have any Victoria's Secret attire in my collection, but I just, that to me is a company that I think people would kind of try to hang on to a little bit, and clearly people aren't spending the money that they had been previously. Let's see. Parents charged in death of missing baby put infant's body in suitcase and threw it away. That happened in Los Angeles County. Absolutely mind-blowing. Small banner plane crashes into building in Florida. UK to fine Facebook and Google up to 4% value for not removing hate speech and fake news fast enough. Okay, so this is important to pay attention to, okay? This is really, really, really important to pay attention to. Because you have to understand the powers that be always work within the Hegelian dialectic, okay? Problem, reaction, solution, okay? I've been warning about your major platforms like Facebook, YouTube, which we're on right now, Twitter. One day they just may be gone, okay? And it may literally be like a switch that is flipped. And I am concerned with the psychological impact of that on people. Also, in all realms, whether it be the confusion, whether it be people being upset. I mean, if Facebook has a glitch and it crashes for 5 minutes, people are like going crazy and it's international news. Okay? Can you imagine Facebook not coming back? I mean, that's pretty crazy. I know myself, personally, I would lose contact. Not that I really reach out and touch anybody too often. I'm a pretty quiet, closed kind of person. But still, I've got like over 500 Facebook friends, quote unquote. And a lot of those people are people that I do like and respect. I'm not a very talkative kind of person, believe it or not. And, well, unless I know you. If I know you and I'm close to you, then I'll probably talk your ear off. But, I would hate to lose contact with all of those people. And that would cause confusion in my own mind And yeah, I think I would have some psychological issues if Facebook just shut off and didn't come back. I'm just being honest with you. I think I would. I think a lot of us would. So it's something to pay attention to. Year of the Android, record number of robots installed in the workplace in 2018. And we're going to see this rise and rise and rise. And it's not because people want more minimum wage. That's the excuse that's being used. Bottom line, it comes down to profit margins. And it doesn't matter whether employees making a minimum wage said, okay, well, we'll take even less than minimum wage, just please keep us on staff. It wouldn't matter. If the robots could do it cheaper, guess what? Company's going to get rid of the people. It has nothing to do with how much minimum wage is or anything else. It has to do with that profit margin. That's all. And they're going to make, they're always going to make somebody else the scapegoat but themselves, and you have to remember that. And in this case, they make the scapegoats the people that want to be able to afford to live, without having to get assistance from the government, which essentially is a form of socialism, okay? So that's why I don't understand. We can't just raise minimum wage. It's not that easy. We can't just jump up minimum wage for everybody, for every company and all that. It's not that simple because you're going to run a lot of companies out of business, okay? On the same token, there are a lot of businesses that should damn well be paying people better wages. These major corporations like McDonald's, like Walmart, for instance, they should be making sure their employees are getting better pay. These are major multi-billion-dollar corporations, okay? Now, when I say McDonald's, I want to clarify something. A lot of McDonald's locations are privately owned franchises, okay? So they're typically owned by restaurant management companies, okay? These companies aren't making a fortune. And the reason why is because they have to pay McDonald's an exorbitant fee just to use their name and their logo and the rights. And so, like I said, it's not as simple as just saying, okay, let's bump the minimum wage up. It's not that easy. That's going to cause more harm than anybody could ever imagine if we just bump up minimum wage. But on the same token, I'm not saying that we do nothing. Okay? We have to figure this out. We have to come to the table and figure this out. And instead of one side arguing, no, you can't do it because I don't want to pay another $1 for my cheeseburger, and the other side, saying that, I don't know what they're saying, but you never know what the left is saying, and by the time you somewhat figure it out, they change it. So, but anyway, it's it's something that we really need to come to the table to and figure this out. Instead of the fighting back and forth and the talking points and all that, it's an issue we really need to figure out. Anyway, and then my suggestion would be to fix this would be, why don't we tax these companies that are putting the robots in, right? Because again, you can't expect people to starve. That is inhumane, that is cruel, that is absolute BS if you expect people just to starve to death, especially, children. You just expect them to starve to death. Because unfortunately in this country we got a lot of people that want to dictate over other people, but they don't want to take any time to get to know that person individually, to really know their circumstances. It's much easier just to stand far back and just say what you should do, right? Oh, we'll get a real job, blah, 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 right? So anyway, that is one possible solution when it comes to the automation, is start going after these companies that are putting in this automation and taxing them for that automation, because those people, again, still have to eat. And if they're not making that money from working, or enough money, I should say, from working, then guess what? The taxpayers are put on the hook for it. Okay? That money's going to come from the government in the form of, like, SNAP, for instance. Okay? So, in my opinion, these companies ought to be, the ones that should be responsible for that. You realize how many employees of Walmart are on public assistance? Okay? Do you realize that Walmart gets out of paying taxes, largely gets out of paying taxes because of all the loopholes and all the BS? Does that make any sense to you? So you go out there, providing you don't work at Walmart or one of these other like-minded corporations, you go out there and you bust your butt, right? And the government steals money from you. Theft steals money from you. Doesn't give you any choice in the matter. And they take some of that money, a portion of that money, to feed people that are either unemployed, disabled, or underemployed. And underemployed is the biggest category there. Okay? Don't you think that Walmart should be responsible for that? I certainly do. I certainly do. But instead of having any type of responsibility or any type of consequences with it, guess what? They get out of paying taxes for the most part, and you get to pay for what they're doing. Not right. Again, the left and the right have to drop their talking points and come to the table on this, because there are solutions. There are solutions. But we'll never even put them on the table. We'll never even be at the same table if we can't drop the talking points and all of the ignorance. And that goes for both sides, not just one. Both sides. Anyway, let's see. Mars had a planet-wide groundwater system. Stunning breakthrough reveals. Not surprising to me. I firmly believe that there was life at least at one time, if not still on Mars. Some type of life, whether it be little bitty organisms or whatnot. Time to end the nuclear threat. Graham hints at war hours after Trump-Kim summit stalls. See, this war hawk's already at it. Already at it, folks. We do not need more war. We do not need more war. There was an interesting article I was reading earlier about the reason, some of the reasons why we're so far behind on our military technology. And one of those reasons are because we have been fighting in wars for, so long that that's where our money has been going to. Instead of the money going to development of new, more advanced high-tech weaponry, it's going to fight wars. Well, all of that time that we've been spending money fighting these wars, countries like China and Russia have been investing in technology. And that's why we're so far behind. Absolutely nuts. And you've got people like this that just want to go to war. That's all they want to do. They want to go to war. And why? Because they're somehow involved or related to the military-industrial complex. Just a fact. Just a fact. Okay, BRICS continues to create own payment system to cut dependence on West. Not good news for the dollar. And they've been working on this. In fact, there's all kinds of things they've been working on to cut their dependence on the U.S. dollar. So this is just another nail in the dollar's coffin. World flooded with $100 bills may be sign of international corruption. If you read the article, and I just kind of skimmed through it myself, if you read the article, it's almost laying the framework, the groundwork for a cashless society, or at least the reasoning to have a cashless society. It's pretty interesting. And the Federal Reserve is the one that's putting out all these $100 bills. They're not saying that these are counterfeit bills, okay? They're not in any way implying that these are counterfeit bills, okay? But yet in the article, they're more or less blaming drug dealers and just average everyday people for this problem, okay, when it's the Federal Reserve that's printing it out. See how that works? Let's see. Maduro orders European headquarters of Venezuelan state oil firm PDVSA to be moved to Moscow. This is enormous news. Absolutely enormous news. And something, it is in the headlines a little bit further up. Folks, they are strategically making moves in financial sectors, okay, to be able to secure their investments, their assets. This is big. This is big on two fronts. One, that Venezuela is doing it, period. And two, because it's going to Moscow. Okay? So that's undoubtedly going to cause a rift between the United States and Russia because of that. It is what it is, you know? Let's see. Pedophiles are hunting children as young as 5 on Instagram as grooming triples on social media. Absolutely insane, folks. Absolutely insane. And I'll tell you what, the AI that they have that's working right now on videos and on audio and everything, whether it's text, it doesn't matter what it is. They've got AI scanning about everything we do. Okay? And, pardon me. And it doesn't take them very long. It's almost real time for them to be able to detect different things like you're talking about or whatnot. Okay? So I don't understand why they just have a real hard problem with this stuff, with the pedophiles and this stuff with videos on kids committing suicide and all that. I don't get that, right? Because you mention things about freedom and liberty, or unfortunately in the climate we're in, if you talk about pro-Trump things, real quick, they're right on it. They'll demonetize your video on YouTube. You know, it's insane. But they can't get a handle on this. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. U.S. plans to buy arms, including mortars, in Eastern Europe and send them close to Venezuelan border, says Moscow. We'll see. We'll see. It wouldn't be the first time that things like that were done. U.S. sanctions Venezuelan police and military officials for obstructing humanitarian aid. I really don't know what that's going to accomplish, but okay. And here's the other article I was mentioning. Venezuelan PDVSA moves headquarters to Moscow to safeguard oil assets against seizure. So it sounds like not only did they make the decision, but they made it happen, which I would say is probably in their best interest. Like I said, that's going to cause a major rift, and the reason why is largely it's the oil that the United States is interested in, not the people of Venezuela. It's the natural resources. Well, now, if they move the headquarters to Moscow, to Moscow, it's going to make it a little bit harder to take over the PDVSA. So, absolutely nuts. And plus, that's going to make it a lot harder for it to be corrupted by this Guaido guy. Let's see. Environmental disaster as tons of oil spills into UNESCO-protected waters. And I watched a video from Dabu on this earlier, and this has been going on for like a month. And this is the first I've heard about it. They haven't been saying anything on mainstream about this. Man, this is like the Solomon Islands. This is like a paradise, a beautiful, beautiful place. I mean, aside from all the black oil that you see in the water, I mean, look at that. It would be a beautiful, a gorgeous place. We've got to do something about this. And these corporations, these major corporations, little to nothing will happen over this. Little to nothing. It's absolutely insane. Not sci-fi, military expert says lasers will be used against mini drones in near future. Not real surprising news, but it is in the news, so I thought I would share that. No military intervention in Venezuela, just appropriate actions, says Abrams. So we'll see. I don't know how they're going to be able to get what they want without military action. Because it seems like, Venezuela and Maduro have the support of individuals that have the resources and the knowledge to try to fend off the United States with everything that's going on down there. So we'll keep our eyes on it. We'll see what happens, but this could really get ugly fast. It really, really could. So, okay, let me go ahead and wrap up the monologue. I'll get you started in videos, and we'll try to get as much of this stuff done before we join up with Prepper Nurse 1. And let's see, if you're here for the live show, stick around. We will be live till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, at 7, we'll connect with Prepper Nurse 1. And if you're here for the monologue or you're watching the recording thereof, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.